Hello, everybody. How are you doing tonight? I told you I was going to be back today, and here I am. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Person-Centered Cyber and Security in the Black. I'm Cheryl Abram. This is the Cut It edition, okay, because there's some ish going on that needs to be cut, okay? I was going to play the song, but you know, I had to check my audio and all that other stuff, and we ain't trying to do all that. So let's get started, okay? First of all, do we have a president yet? Do we? What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Paula White, girl, sit your ass down somewhere. Did y'all see that stuff on Twitter? This chick right here, she really do need to have a seat, several seats. But one of these days, I guess we'll get a president. And you know what? I was telling somebody that elections used to be so exciting, you know? And now I'm like, you know, when you see that anybody could be president, like literally anybody could be president, it's like, it's not even, you know, your little kid say, Mommy, I want to be president one day. Like, child, please set your bar a little higher than that. Okay. All right. First content creator in security in the Black is Black Cyber. Now, Black Cyber has a video called Season 2, Episode 7, interview with Tia Hopkins. Okay. I love Tia. All right, this interview was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. Now I knew Tia before he did this this interview through LinkedIn because they just became partners. She and her nonprofit Empower Cybersecurity just became partners with Blacks in Cyber. So Empower Cybersecurity is her nonprofit, and they just started it. I became a part of it. I'm on the Slack and all that stuff. So, but I was very, very happy to see that Black Cyber was interviewing her. So Tia, she is a cybersecurity sales engineer, okay, which is totally different, right? Because we don't hear that a lot. And she really wants more of us to get into that profession because, first of all, she said it's lucrative, okay? It's very lucrative. And then, you know, she said it's just a really, really great profession. She said that what it does is, as a sales engineer in cybersecurity, she says it's important to establish your credibility, okay? Because she said it's like you're going into somebody's house saying, okay, I want to secure your house. But in order for you to do that, they got to tell you where the holes are. Okay, and ain't nobody gonna do that if they don't trust you, right? So you really have to know what you're talking about. She said you have to establish your credibility. She said it takes a lot of relationship building with companies. She says you need technical skill. You do. However, the soft skills are what elevate your technical skills. Okay, so she's like the soft the soft skills have to be on display, and you got to be strong. Okay, you got to be strong in your soft skills for this. She said it's more of an art than a science, being a cybersecurity sales engineer. And we're very much underrepresented. Now, after I watched this interview, I went to Indeed to look up cybersecurity sales engineer, and they're out there. I mean, there's not a whole heap of them, but they're there. And some require that you be clearable. Okay, some require that you be clearable. Some require certain certifications, or that you're working towards certifications. I saw one that said working towards like CEH or Security Plus or any one of those, okay? I saw one of them that said, you know, they really want you to be knowledgeable about tools like Metasploit and Splunk, you know, and all that. But yeah, so she wants more of us to be interested in the field, and she said she doesn't, because of the way that she learns, and she continually learns. She said she doesn't have to seek opportunities, they find her. Okay. So the interviewer asked, what doors has the CISSP opened for you? All right, which I thought was a great question. So she said on a personal level, when she passed the CISSP, she said, so it only took her about 2 months to study, and she did 1 boot camp. Okay, and the people around her, hey, Professor Black Ops, you talk to a lot of sales engineers. You know, I really want to look into that. I do. Because I'm reading the Indeed things. I'm like, this sounds really nice. It sounds really nice. So I'm gonna look more into it. If you know somebody, Professor Black Ops, okay. Yeah, so she said on a personal level, it was good because she really felt like she had accomplished something. I mean, people were telling her how hard it was, and you know, and she said when she took it, it was the one that had like 250 questions or something, which is crazy, you know, but I don't know if it's like that now, but she said when she took it that it was a very long one. But she said she passed it on the first try, right? And a lot of people she talked to hadn't done that. All right. Professor, you're studying for your CISSP. Hi, NC worker. What it do? How you doing? So she felt a major sense of accomplishment when she passed. Now, she said on the career side, when she put on her LinkedIn that she had achieved her CISSP, she said her inbox was blowing up. I mean, recruiters were come from north, south, east, and the west when she had that CISSP. Now, she said she felt some kind of way about that. I mean, you know, you're happy that people are noticing and, you know, they're offering you stuff, but she felt some kind of way because she said the day before I took the CISSP were the exact same skills I had the day after I passed it. Okay. And she said she hopes it's not a check the box thing, but it is, you know, it is. I guess, you know, organizations, they feel like the certification is proof. Okay, so the certification companies are saying, listen, we put people through this rigorous process, you know, to be sure they know the content, they know what to do. We have this, that, and the other thing and all that. And, you know, and the companies rely on that, right? Because they don't know you. You give them a resume, you know. If you have a portfolio of work, though, okay, that can show them what you're doing. We're going to talk about that at the end, right? But outside of that, outside of them actually seeing, you know, evidence and of, you know, stuff and management stuff, I guess, you know, isn't as easy to display as other kinds of things. Well, it doesn't seem to be. I think it is, but it doesn't seem to be, right? So what the hell are you going to put in a portfolio? Okay. Yeah, so she said, you know, it's a good thing. It helped her to get the job she has now, which she loves. You know, she absolutely loves it. Government contracts request CISSP. I know, yeah. And it's mighty funny that they do, because what I have observed, and this is not just in cyber, this is even when I was, you know, in HR and learning and development, they require stuff, you know, but you come in there and you have it, or they hire somebody with it. They don't use that shit, you know, because they're not ready for it. They don't have the environment that is ready to really do a PMP, right? For instance, okay? Because PMP is not just me managing the project. That involves you, manager, that involves you, executive, that involves you, you know, that, so what they think is that, you know, if you got the cert, then you're gonna do it, nobody else has to be involved, right? It's like when companies get diversity and inclusion offices. Oh, we done hired a diversity and inclusion person, she got it from here, I gotta do shit, I done the hiring, I'm good, right? We know that's not true. Come on now. So that's like, you know, all right. So so that's what she said regarding the CISSP. Now, she's also an instructor, Professor Black Ops. She teaches at a university. And listen, I already liked her, okay? After she told this story, I fell all the way in love. I'm telling you. Okay. So she's a professor, and she went into it because the way she explained it was she has two, I think it's two masters. She has an information security and a cybersecurity degree. Okay. Now she said that she assumed that for her cyber security degree, which she got after information security, she would have more hands-on experience, more applied, right? And it wasn't. Okay, it was still a bunch of theory, writing papers, you know, and you know, she was disappointed in that, right? Because she expected something and she didn't get it. So she said, listen, when I start teaching, I'm going to make sure that the people I instruct, you know what to do in a work environment. Okay, not in a classroom. Okay, in a work environment. And she said that she knows that what she was doing, the things that she, you know, helped her students to do was working because of the questions they asked, she said, because the questions they asked were more about, were like the questions that people who actually apply this stuff ask, not just people who are trying to memorize it. Those are two, that's different questions, right? If you're trying to memorize something, you're going to ask a different question about Splunk than if you've actually done it and you're applying it. Those questions are going to be different, you know? So she said that's how she knew that what she was doing was good, you know, and she was actually getting the kinds of things that she, you know, was looking for when she was in her master's program. Then the interviewer asked her, let me get it right now. He asked her, he asked her about, you know, what really great thing had happened, you know, when she was as an instructor. She said 2 of her students went on to LinkedIn and posted that they had passed their CISSP. And she said they tagged her in it to say thank you, because what we did in your class really helped me to pass this exam. She said, I don't even teach CISSP. I teach critical thinking. She said, I don't even teach that. Ciao. I loved it. I loved it, because y'all know how much I be harping on soft skills, or real skills is really what they are. Real skills. Okay. Y'all think it's a game. Some of y'all think it's a game. It's not. Okay. It absolutely is not. And I loved when she said that, right? Because when I came in, y'all know when I came in, my first certification was the CYSA. Okay. I quit my job in November in HR, in government, right? In November last year. What's today? Today's the 5th. I quit November 8th. Okay, it'll almost be a year in 3 more days. In December, in November, in that month, I started studying. Okay, I went ahead in the beginning of February, and I took the CYSA, and I failed it the first time. But I got like a 700. Man, I failed that thing, and I had no idea I was going to get, you know, that high of a score. Even though I failed, but I was like, holy shit, like I didn't expect that, right? But I loved studying for that thing, right? Because the years of what I'd already been doing had already prepared me for that. I just had to learn the damn language, right? I love analyzing shit. Like, that's what I do. So I went back again a week later, and I took it and I passed it, right? So my first certification was the CISA, okay? Like 3 months after I got out of HR, right? And I really feel like it's all those skills like together. That's why I tell people, listen, stop it with the, you know, I'm new here, I'm just starting. No, the hell you not. Right? You have skills already that are relevant and useful for whatever you're trying to do in cybersecurity. So when she said that I don't even teach CISSP, child, I teach critical thinking, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I'm gonna repeat that every chance I get. Okay. I love it. So y'all go look at that video, Black Cyber. Subscribe to Black Cyber. He does really, really great interviews. And check out, and under the video, he has a list of all the places you can find Tia. Okay. So it's worth you going over there to see. Okay. NC worker, you're studying for your CAPA. All right now. Next content creator is Keep It Techie. Okay. Keep It Techie interviewed. The name of the video was episode 16, Tech Talk with Professor Black Ops. We have a celebrity in our midst, everybody. Okay. Professor Black Ops is here. And he's been here. Okay. Because in 1990, he said, is when he got his computer science degree. And 1995, you got a master's degree. I forgot what you said it was in, Professor Black Ops. He said he got into security through risk management with DoD. Professor Black Ops is an adjunct professor for cybersecurity, and he recommends to get certs and experience, okay, to get into the game. All right. He said two of the things you may want to think about, like at the very beginnings, like networking or help desk. All right. He advocates learning Linux. Get your Linux on. All right. He says because Linux is more secure. He said the threading is better in Linux. He loves Linux, and he says bigger companies use Linux. Even Microsoft, he said, Microsoft Azure uses a ton of Linux. All right. So don't sleep on Linux. Okay. According to Professor Black Ops. Oh, you got your MBA. Okay. All right. Professor Black Ops also said, so Keep It Techie asked, what program languages should people learn? All right. And Professor Black Ops recommends Perl and Python for automation. And he also said that he is, one of his 2021 goals is to learn Python. That's awesome. You know, I'm learning it right now. So my goal by December 1st is to have my first Python project completed. Okay. And I'm loving it already. Like I really, really am. So Keep It Techie asked him a question that he asked all his guests about automation. Is automation going to drive out humans? Okay. Yes. Professor Black Ops said it will. It's going to take a lot of people out, he said, because of things like serverless and being able to quickly spin up VMs. He did say, just to, you know, it's going to take folks out only if you are not keeping your skills fresh. Okay. And I believe he gave a really good example. He asked his students if they knew what a BlackBerry was, and they didn't know, right? But y'all in here who do know, you know, BlackBerry was like the thing. I remember, you know, when I was at OPM, the BlackBerries, everybody wanted a BlackBerry, had a BlackBerry, you know, assigned mad if they didn't get a BlackBerry. I mean, BlackBerry was everywhere. Okay, with them little ass buttons on. I'm like, how the hell y'all type shit on the little, but they didn't know what the hell that was, right? Because stuff is moving fast. You know, you gotta keep your skills up. And because, and you also said, Professor Black Ops, that, which I thought was awesome. You said in 2030, 2040, and 2050, what skills are we going to need at that time, right? And that's an awesome question, right? Because we don't think about that stuff. We just think about what skills is this job asking for today, okay? Because this is what I'm trying to get. But, you know, forward thinking like that is good. So because you asked that question, I went and I looked myself. So I found an art. Well, it was like a digital magazine or something called The World in 2050, The Future of Cybersecurity. What they wanted $7. So I had to open another tab. Okay. And I found another one free from Kaspersky. It's called Predictions for Earth 2050. How will cybersecurity change? Okay, this is the name of the article. One thing they said is cyber attacks will not be extinct, but they'll only be a threat to outliers who reject modern standards of what they call digital immunity. So what they're predicting is that around 2050, we will have turned to biomimicry. Y'all remember when I talked about biomimicry over here? Going to nature to find solutions to our problems. They've turned to biomimicry to what they call vaccinate ourselves into security, okay? Now this new cyber immunity, within what they call cyber immunity, we have digital intuition, which is AI making decisions, okay? Sounds like Skynet to me, but you know, of course, you know, the stuff you typically see, robot servants and stuff, manless mining, things like that, and dynamic clothing. So clothing that's programmed, you know, and that can, the fabric, the color, the fit, the transparency, all that can change, you know, with a touch of a button or whatever. Now, this article did not talk about specific skills that we're going to need there, but if you got AI making decisions, you know, you're going to have to need, you know, you're going to have to do something. Okay. If you're a decision maker, you got to find something else to do. Okay. You got to find something else to do. All right. So y'all go look at the interview. Professor Black Ops, I mean, he dropped a lot of amazing pearls. Okay. Lots of, I mean, just rich, useful, interesting stuff. Okay. He talked about the data centers being the size of a football field, right? And how, and Keep It Techie mentioned how Microsoft was putting, did he say servers, putting servers in the ocean? And Professor Black Ops talked about Google putting their things in the Arctic because data centers, you know, create a lot of heat, you know, and they're trying to see if it's cheaper to have them in the Arctic. It was the Arctic, right? Not Alaska, or was it Alaska? Somewhere real cold, Google is putting their data centers, okay? They talked about IT horror stories. It was so funny because you talked about how today we have Google, when back when you were doing it, you had a problem, you had to get the books off the shelf, wipe the dust off, and lay on your stomach on the floor and read the book. That was hilarious. I could picture you doing that. Yeah, and he also talks about the work he does in risk management and really wanting to help us, you know, small business owners, you know, with those kinds of things. So please go look at that video. It was so nice. You know, it was very, very good. He gave a lot of amazing information. Thank you, Professor Black Ops, and Keep It Techie for that. All right, the next content creator, and if you're here, you haven't subscribed yet or liked the video, please do that. Please and thank you. Convo courses. Okay, now I am working with Convo courses. His name is Bruce. So me, Bruce, and Dr. Phillips, the gentleman who is here sometimes, the three of us are working on redesigning the certified authorization professional training study material. Okay, to help individuals get that. And listen, it needs redesign. It does. It absolutely does. So we're talking about that, doing that stuff. So tonight, though, he had a video called "How Much Computer Knowledge Do You Need to Get into Risk Management Framework?" Okay, so he was answering a few questions that people had, and this is one of the answers, one of the questions. So he said risk management is a second-tier job, meaning it has a lot of management and a lot of and not a lot of hands-on configuration. He said you need some IT experience, but he gave three main things that you need if you're thinking about getting into risk management. He said first, you really need to be a U.S. citizen, because many of the jobs require you be at least eligible for security clearance. Okay, so I guess he's just talking about within government then. Okay, number two, risk management, he said, should not be your first job. Okay, he said you should have some kind of solid understanding of networking and IT and aspects of IT. He also said, number three, that you deal a lot with regulations. Okay, and you absolutely need to know how those regs apply to IT in the organization that you're in. Okay. All right. Does that sound about right, Professor Black Ops? So these are his answer to that question. Do you need IT skill? Now, somebody else asked, do I need to have an A+ before I get a security plus? Somebody asked him that. And of course, we know the answer is no, you don't. Actually, with CompTIA, you don't need to have anything before you get anything. Okay. They recommend a whole bunch of stuff. But if tomorrow I want to go sit for the pen test plus, I can do that. Okay. There's no prerequisites. But that question though, do I need to have an A+ before security plus? Like, what is that really asking though? Right. To me, it sounds like the person could be asking about several things. First of all, money. Okay. Because it's not free. Okay. Like, do I need to pay for this before I get that thing right there? Right. So, and also time, right? It takes a lot of time if you're trying to study for two different certifications, right? Ooh, I got to check in with Prince, who he was studying for like 3 certifications at one time. I got to see what's up with that. Hey, Prince, I got to check in with you. And then competence, right? Because there's one young lady that I was talking to in a Facebook group, and she was worried that if I get this cert, I think it was Security Plus, if I get Security Plus, will I be missing out, if I don't do Network Plus first, So some people feel like that. If I don't go, ITF or A+ Network, if I don't do it in order, I feel like I'm going to be missing something, so that, that could be an issue as well. Professor Black Ops, you said, yes, RMF needs a basic computer skills, usually on big federal contracts. Okay. NC worker, would it be advantageous for someone who works in compliance before risk management? What do you think about that, Professor Black Ops? I think so. I do. I think that would be advantageous. I don't think it would hurt, definitely. Be like, what? You work in compliance? Get the hell up out of here. We don't. I don't think anybody's gonna say that. Okay. Who is the next content creator? So I actually had a chance to, so tonight I was pulled away a little bit. So I didn't get a chance to watch all of this Alpha Cybersecurity's video, but I was able to watch a little bit. Like I caught it in the middle, right? His live. And while I was driving, my sister-in-law had to go to the doctor and she left her oven on. So I had to, run over there to try to turn the stove off. And I didn't even have the key. Couldn't even get in the house. I had to call my daughter to the rescue, child, for her house burned down. So Alpha Cybersecurity had, I know I wrote the name here. Oh, is it Daria J. Footman? She's CCIE by 30. That's her name. CCIE by 30. Yep. Professor Black Ops said RMF is all about compliance and risk. Yep. Thank you, Professor. So CCI by 30, y'all go look up CCI by 30. Okay. Now I didn't hear the whole thing, but it was a very warm and a very real discussion. Okay. And I love Davin's interviews because he's very like, it's not a, what do you call it? It's like keep it techies, right? Like he's super real. It's like you're in his living room. Okay. Just talking. Okay. And I really do like that. But I had a question. So while they were talking, she brought up share the mic in cyber. Are y'all familiar with share the mic in cyber? Have any of you heard of that? Because I had not heard of that until like a couple weeks ago when it was going on. And it was going on the same day that I had to do the infosec, breaking into infosec summit. Okay, so I had my workshop going on at the same time that was going on because I had planned on attending, right? So I asked about that. I was like, what is that? Okay, what is it and what's the purpose of it? I had an idea, but because they brought it up, I just wanted to clarify. And apparently share the mic in cyber is about POC getting with, I don't know, what do you say? Non-POC? White folk, okay, in cybersecurity. People well-known, you know, white people in cybersecurity getting with me, you know, or somebody, some other melanated individual, typically marginalized in some kind of way, to share the mic, you know. And I guess, you know, you see, I'm standing next to this titan of cybersecurity, so maybe some of that's going to rub off on me, and you know, and all that. Now, when I first heard about it, or had an idea, hi, Keep It Techie, so glad you're here. I had an idea about what share the mic in cyber was. I felt some type of way, and I think I said it here. You know, I feel some type of way about, you know, being coupled with somebody who's better than me, you know, in some kind of way. All right, because so that I can now be put into, you know, a better position because I'm seen with this person. That may be perfectly fine. I mean, you know, nothing at all may be wrong with that. I'm just talking about Cheryl, right? Like where, or is share the mic in cyber going the other way? I don't know, right? Do we have POC, you know, with other people sharing them? I'm not sure. I got questions. Y'all know I got questions. Okay, I have lots of questions. So I had that question. They did answer the question for me, but I do need to, you know, find out more about that before I opine further. Okay. Next in the news, Walmart. Yes, Walmart is in the news, honey. So I went to Walmart this past weekend because I want to get a Raspberry Pi. Can somebody type in the chat where I can get a damn Raspberry Pi? Okay, and what kind it need to be, because I'm having the hardest time. So I'm in Walmart in the electronics section and I'm looking, okay? I don't see it. So of course, you know, I go to somebody who works there in the electronics section and I said, sir, can you tell me if you all stock Raspberry Pis? He said, yes, they're right down there in the dessert section. So shout out to Walmart for stocking Raspberry Pis in the dessert section. Okay. I said, sir, thank you. I said, thank you. Somebody tell me where to get a Raspberry Pi, please. All right. Next in security in the Black news, Chloe Mesdagi. I love that last name, Mesdagi. Hey, Chloe. So y'all know the last time I was on, I talked about hacker rights. And I had questions. I wasn't sure what that was. Me and Professor Black Ops, we had a little discussion in the chat thing about that, because I wasn't clear. Okay, because it sounded like some BS to me, but I was not clear. Okay, and I like to be clear before I say some stuff. All right. So what I did is I did what I said I was going to do. I'm going to go back and research and ask questions and do all the stuff I need to do to help me get a better understanding. Okay, so that when I talk to you all, I'm not just, you know, blowing some ish up your arse. Okay, I'm actually coming from a place of competence, of, you know, of research. All right. Not just being in my feelings. So I watched over the past week, since the last time I was on here, I watched 4 videos with Chloe doing interviews about that. Okay, thank you, Professor Black Ops. The 4 videos, okay, and she talks about, you know, basically the same thing in each, right? She talks about hacker rights, and she gives the same presentation, and she likes to present. You know, she uses the PowerPoints, you know, so don't talk, don't do nothing. Wait till she's done, okay? And she goes through the whole thing. So that was pretty, you know, the same through all the videos. What else did I do? So in those videos, in her presentation, she had references, okay? So I wrote those down. And in one of the videos that she did, I think it was, the name of the channel was DevSecOps, I believe was the name of the channel. I put in the comments, I said, may I please have the references for the slide where she listed that, you know, and he was very kind. He provided me the links to the references, and he invited me to the Slack that he's on with Chloe, okay? So I did that. I joined the Slack. I went to the link. Now listen, those links he gave me, one of them was a report from HackerOne. I think it was from 2018 about the bug bounty. Man, they had so much amazing information in that report. It said nothing about what I didn't see the reference from her slides, but the information they had in that report was fascinating, honey. I mean, it was fascinating. I'm gonna read that again. Like the HackerOne, go look for the HackerOne bug bounty report. Okay. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick and put it in the chat. Because listen, I'm reading that stuff. I'm like, what? This is so interesting. Like it really was. It really, really was. Let me see. Because my question was, who is she talking about? Like who hacker? First of all, what is a hacker? Like who is that? Okay. Is that it? That's not it. I'll have to find it for y'all and put it in the description because I don't want to keep you waiting. Yeah, Professor Black Ops does have a YouTube channel. NC Worker. Professor Black Ops, put your YouTube channel link in here. Okay, so I checked the sources. I joined her Slack. I watched, listen, on this YouTube, on these YouTube streets right here, Chloe has created a channel called Hacking is Not a Crime. And on that channel, she has people, like real people hacking, okay, who she gives them like 2 to 8 minutes to talk about what they do and give an example of when they found the vulnerability and tried to report it and what happened and all that. So this is great. I loved it. Like those videos are really nice. It looks like she just started it. So go over there. It's called Hacking is Not a Crime. Okay. And watch those videos. The first guy I watched, he calls himself the blind hacker because he's blind. He can't see. And he's a hacker. I thought that was fascinating, really. And the next lady I watched, she was a single mother, right? And she started doing it because she said, you know, I needed my phone fixed and I wasn't about to pay all that money. Okay. Which means I got to do this myself. Okay. So that's how she started. They're really fascinating stories, really. And there's another guy who tells a story about how he, you know, hacked into a web and he found a vulnerability because he was trying to get his friend some free services, you know, and he got him. But then he tried to tell the company, hey, you got this vulnerability. They didn't respond. He emailed somebody, they responded. He told him, you got this vulnerability. I got the proof. They wasn't trying to hear that. He said, fine. So he just put it out there. Here, it's in the public now. And then they tried to sue his ass for that. So go over there. These stories are really interesting, like for real. They're very interesting. They are. Okay. And they're only like 2 to 8 minutes. Okay. So you're gonna be there all day. So I did that. Okay. And I connected with Chloe on LinkedIn and I sent her a message. Okay. All right. I said, Chloe. And she responded. Very nice lady. Okay. Very nice lady. So our first question was, okay, I said, you know, this is who I am. And I saw the hacker rights and all that. I said, my first question is, when you say hacker rights, you're saying right to do what? Like, what are you talking about? And she said, number one, to the right to update out-of-date laws that prevent good hacking along with bad. So the laws are there to prevent the bad, but in preventing the bad, they prevent the good as well, okay? And she said because of that, there are friendly hackers out there who, she said, if we change the laws, the hackers out there who are hacking without exploiting, she said, let me see what she said now. I got to hear word for word. She said, the hackers who disclose without exploiting have protection. Okay. And I think Professor Black Ops, when we were talking about that, you said that, you know, you can find a vulnerability without touching the network, or I forgot how you said that though, but it's not like you outside my house looking at my window being like, hey Cheryl, your window broke. Okay, so you're not jiggling my doorknob and all up on my porch and shit, right? So I get, so that's what she's talking about here. Number two, she said rights means for companies. Now this is where I get fuzzy again. Okay, she said for companies to have disclosure policies that tell the hacker community what is within scope and how to disclose it. So what I hear is, I'm a company and I know what kind of world I live in. Okay. I know as soon as somebody finds the opportunity, okay, to get in to my space, okay, they're probably going to do it. So because I know that, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, just in case you come up in here, this is how far you can go. Okay, you cannot go beyond my window or like beyond my living room or whatever. Okay, and if you find something, then this is where you need to send it. Okay, so that's what I get. That's what I get from there. Okay, which sound. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I told her, I said thank. So that's what she provided me. She provided me with that information and stuff. And I was like, I was very appreciative, you know, because she didn't have to take the time to do that. She could have been like, what, Cheryl? Who the fuck I know you? But she did. She took the time. Okay, and I appreciate that. But I did say I'm still a little bit fuzzy, but I'm gonna do my own research. Okay, I ain't gonna bother you. You're a busy woman. You got, you know, presentations and shit happening. I'm good. Okay, I'll be okay. But I let her know, you know, what I thought about it so far. You know, given the research that I already done, plus the answers she provided me. And to me, to be honest, y'all, hacker rights sounds like Orwellian language. You know, which they use a lot in politics. Okay. Y'all know what it means to secure the target, right? That means go blow some shit up. Secure the target is Orwellian language. Okay. The Blue Sky Act. You know what the Blue Sky Act is? That's some shit that's about polluting the air. It's called the Blue Skies Act. Okay. Orwellian language cloaks what's really going on. Okay, that's what it does. I feel like hacker rights is doing that, you know, is making me feel funny. Okay, now I don't want it to be like, because, you know, we get that same shit when we say Black Lives Matter, right? They're like, what the hell, all lives, what you know how they get, right? Okay, and you know, But we know, like we know when we say that we're not saying, you know, Black Lives Matter and F-bomb everybody else. Okay. Plus, right? When we say stuff like that and the things we're trying to do, that means if we can get the fairness that we, you know, deserve as Americans, that lifts all of us up, not just us, everybody. Okay. Everybody. Okay, it's the same, like just like people who are differently abled. Okay, differently abled people matter. You know, what the hell you sound like talking about what? You know, I got problems too. What is, you know, that's crazy, right? Differently abled people actually had to fight for shit like ramps and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But those kinds of things that elevates all of us. Okay, all of us. I don't know if hacker rights going to elevate all of us toward human rights in cybersecurity. I don't know. It might. I don't know, but that's what I'm looking for. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. You know, you know, because the thing is, right, the reason why I said it feels like Orwellian language, right, because, and I feel like it's cloaking a kind, sort of like an abuse of power, right? Because when you know what computer scientists know, and this is one of the things that Bug Bounty Report said, it said it was like 60% of the hackers that worked for HackerOne, okay, all those hackers, about 60% took computer science, right, in college, and like another 25% took it either in high school or before, okay. That gives you a different level of understanding about what the hell is going on here, okay. And the thing is, if you have that level of not just understanding and knowledge, but know how, okay, you know how to get to memory and do some shit, okay, you know how to do that. All you need is the opportunity to do it, right? That know-how, there is an enormous knowledge gap between those with know-how and those who don't know shit, but I'm typing on my keyboard and some stuff appear on the screen, okay? Y'all have heard that knowledge is power, right? That's a lot of power you got. Knowing how shit works like that. And I don't know. I have no idea, okay? I don't know. It's like when I go get my car fixed. Them Negroes could tell me whatever the hell they want to tell me. I gotta believe them. Why? Because I don't know anything about no damn cars. That's why I hate car shopping. They see a woman coming, it's like blood in the water. Okay, I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's what I'm talking about. That's what I feel like. You know, I don't know. It's bothering me. It's bothering me. Keep it techie, Professor Black Ops. I'm trying to keep myself together, but it's bothering me. Okay. Because I talk about human rights and cybersecurity, like that's what I'm doing. Okay. Security of person, along with life and liberty, is in Article 3 of the Human Rights Charter, the global human rights, you know, security of person, right? It's your right to be secure. You have the freedom to be secure. Everybody needs to have the freedom to be secure, right? Otherwise, you got what? You got manifest destiny. Y'all remember manifest destiny we learned in school? Okay, that's when the settlers came over because they felt like, you know, this was, you know, God telling them this is the new land and you get freedom and, you know, rights of religion and all this stuff, you know, right? So when you have things like that, okay, and they came over, they knew something different than the people who were already here. They had different technologies and all that than the people who were already here. So what happened was, you know, they used the power they had to innovate and, you know, build and all this other stuff, but to perform, I mean, you know, unthinkable atrocities, unthinkable, right? Just trampling all over people's rights, right? And didn't care shit about it. Why? Because it's in the name of progress? Nah, man, fuck that. We're not gonna have that going on again. Okay. Listen, I'm about human rights in cybersecurity, in the digital world. Okay. In the digital world. Right. So that's all I'm talking about. This may move us all forward. I don't know. I need more information. I need to observe. And I told her, look, I said, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to see what's up, see what's going on, and I might have something to say about it. That's all. That's all. That's all. Hacker rights is an intellectual elitism to attack your company because it's smarter than you. Professor Black Ops. This is what I'm talking about. That's the I'm getting that kind of tease. Okay, that's the kind of tease I'm getting. Child. Okay, let me show y'all this before I go. Okay, so I got some pretty exciting news. Okay, now I'm all over the place. Y'all know, I think I love writing, I love speaking, I love researching, I love coming up. I have been in this living room, okay, for the past week. Just, ideas. I got shit drawn over here. I purchased Mural. Okay, I told y'all that I purchased Mural because I need space to think. I got to be drawing stuff out and putting and all that. So my Dr. Phillips, through Blacks in Cyber, he's got a lot of stuff going on too. He just became like the on the board in CompTIA for some diversity and inclusion stuff. He just got hired by American University for HackerU to be an instructor. So he starts that, like, I don't know, in a couple of days or something. He actually recommended me because, we worked together on course design for a position there. So I'm actually meeting with someone next week to get a position as an instructional designer with HackerU, if they like me. But I wanted to show you this because one of the things that I think I showed y'all my visual resume, but I also sent. Now, listen, the screen better act right because I'm not here to play today. Okay, don't do this. Okay, there you go. I sent my portfolio of work along with my resume. There's all this stuff up here, but this is what I was talking about in the beginning. Now, my resume talks about all this, okay? But this portfolio, it shows everything, okay? And the way that I do it is I don't just put my finished product in my portfolio. When I first start some shit, I put it in here, okay? Because it's a working thing. Like in whatever stage I'm in, this is the Cyber Future program that we did with the boys, okay? Some of the activities that we did with them. Now, these are middle school students, okay? This is the design. I use understanding by design when I design courses, okay? And this was this wasn't the final, but it was close to the final. Outcomes, and so learning outcomes and program outcomes, and we talk about the soft skills that we're going to use, what was going to happen in each week, and what the objectives were. Okay, this is a one pager, and there's some pictures here. I love word clouds. I do. So I took all of the acronyms that are in the Security Plus document that CompTIA provides, and I put it in worditout.com, and what that does is the word that appears the most is the biggest. Okay, so all the acronyms in Security Plus, if you see a P, it's probably protocol. Okay, all right. You see an A is authentication or access or something like that, right? So and these are just pictures from the thing, right? So so this is what I'm talking about, and what I've done is, now this is when I work with Cyberjutsu Girls Academy. They wanted their Girls Academy. They had 12 workshops, and they wanted me to revive them because they were kind of old and stuff. So these are some of the things that I did. I did a logic model for every workshop, which just gives the story of what the inputs and the outputs and the activities and all that stuff, what that needs to be, right? So I sent all of this along with my, what you call that thing? my resume. Okay, this is the cybersecurity escape room that Professor Phillips and I did for Cyber Future. Okay, that we did at Northern Virginia Community College in Woodbridge. Okay, it was you had to end a ransomware attack, and this is the first team that won. This team won. I think they were the third team, and these are some of the things that we use in the debrief and all that. All right, so on right now, this is, and I'm putting my Python project in here too. Okay, so this is training stuff. This is program stuff. Okay, program projects, Federal Cyber Reskilling Academy, the CIO Council in government. But right before I left, I worked with them to create a logic model for the Reskilling Academy. Okay, I even participated the new SSP that's well, it's not that new. It was like 2 years ago, maybe that came out. Dr. Phillips was a part of that. Okay, and I worked with him to map out what that was going to look like. Okay, so this is some of the mind mapping that was did in the beginning. Now, I dropped off very early from that project, but these are some of the things that I did, like creating a persona for the book chapters, right? To know who is this chapter, who are we talking to, right? And what are their issues, and what do we want this to say, okay? So I have program stuff, the different kinds of, what's over here? Okay, amplifying my voice, it says. So this is my writing, okay? The thing in magazines, this is an ATD magazine. This is the summit I just did, the Blacks in Cyber. This is an article I have. Look, keep it techie, you're right here. I put, I was a guest on your channel when I presented for ATD and all. So all of my book, all of this stuff, okay? All the magazine stuff that I did dealing with training. These are pictures of me giving presentations and stuff. I'm in this thing right here. This is, my security in the Black news is in my portfolio. All right. So what we're doing right now, I'm sick of training. Like seriously, like the stuff that we have out here for people to to just sit in the classroom and hear some shit and go take a test. That stuff is dying out. All right. So what I want to do is have something where every individual will start out, if they don't have it already. Okay, let's take your resume and let's start to build a portfolio, because after every workshop, you will have something to put in here, okay? Something to put in here, right? And we're going to encourage all kinds of things, because when I talk about your resume is not just that 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 page, whatever you give to these people, right? It should be much more than that, okay? Plus, ain't nobody got time to read all that shit, especially if you're trying to get the job before you apply, You ain't got to worry about no damn filters. I didn't apply for this job. Okay. Wesley said, hey, Cheryl does this. He said she does. I sent him the link to this, which is a free site. It's Google Sites. It's free. Okay. I sent him a link to this, my visual resume, and the other one that the narrative one. Okay. And I got an interview next week. You ain't worried about going through no machines and, checking boxes and all that shit. No. Right. If you're trying to get the job before, and not need to apply, this is the kind of stuff you need. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm offering, because I want to see more of this. And listen, there's a bunch of learning stuff, and I didn't leave nothing out. I got stuff in here from 2004. Okay. Because it's relevant. Okay. It's articles that I've written about learning. The job is instructional design for cybersecurity training. All right. It's relevant. Okay. I don't have everything in here either. Okay. I've done way more than this, right? I just picked out the major stuff. Okay. And the somewhat, recent. Okay. But there's much more. So if y'all want to work on this, if you want to do something like this and other stuff, right? Because we got, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can do. Then I have the link here to my Patreon, and it's only, how much is that Patreon? I think it's $10 a month for the cybersecurity group. And there's mentoring and, and all that other stuff. But I just wanted to show y'all that because I think showing your work in blockchain, they call it proof of work. Okay. Proof of work. I ain't got to ask you shit. Just, I need to see the work. Okay. To know that you did it. All right. We need more of this. And it doesn't matter. I'm not a coder. I'm a policy writer. Okay. And I do training. You can have a portfolio. It doesn't matter what you do. You can be in management. You can have a portfolio of work. Okay. You know what work is? Work is physical and mental energy used to produce something. That's the definition of work. Physical and mental energy used to produce something. At the end of that, you've produced something. All you gotta do is provide evidence. Okay. That's all you gotta do. How long have I been talking at y'all today? I don't even know. Listen, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and like it too, if you like it, okay? Even if you don't like it, hit the thumb down, do something, all right? Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I really appreciate you all. I really, really do. And you add so much value to all of this stuff. I love looking at your videos, trying to figure out what's going to be on the news. And it's just amazing. It really, really is. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate you. And I'm going to see you again here. Today is Thursday. I'm going to be back next week. Okay. For another Security in the Black and some other stuff. So y'all have a good night. Thank you again for being here. And I will see you next time. All right. Bye, y'all.